morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to the Brighton Arsenal preview. And we've got three wonderful people. I'm going to start with my favourite. Sorry, the other two. Brenny, how are you, mate?
I'm good. You know, can't complain. Just looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we can get the 3 points and see the new year in.
Yeah, exactly. Canis, how are you, mate?
I'm great, mate, and it's all the better for seeing your lovely faces. It's just one of those ones. Now we got back onto the saddle with 3 points against the West Ham, and I'm just looking forward to this now. We're back.
Gunnar King, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Excited for the new year. Excited for our match coming up against Brighton. Excited with a transfer window. Lots to be positive about at the moment if you're an Arsenal fan. So looking to carry that positivity into the new year, really.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to bring too much of a downer, but obviously yesterday was the sad news of Pele losing his fight. I think we're all of the age that we actually know about him enough to actually comment on it. So I'll start with you, Canners. What was your thoughts yesterday?
Man, it's just such sad news, really, because, from day dot when I fell in love with football, you heard the name Pele and, you looked at his archives, you look at his story, is a beacon basically of the game, always revered world wide. The respect that he has for every single kind of powerhouse person connected with football. I just remember seeing snippets of him, and most notably, I don't know if everyone's seen that Escape to Victory, and seeing him in that film. When he just gets up and gets the chalk and just says, "Oh, good, this, go." And you know what? The thing is, though, he's such a humble guy. I don't think you can, just realize how humble this guy was, and also the fact that he was just such a likable person. Someone being so great, so humble, and so blessed. I mean, it's just lucky that that the game has had someone like him. You speak about him in the same breath as the greats of boxing. Ali, you say Pele for football, and things like that. So it's like it's a major loss, and may he rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Pele.
Exactly. Brenny?
Yeah, just to echo what Canna said, man. I mean, the guy was just, for me, growing up in that era, and from when I was 8 years old, and clips that I'd seen, and then I saw more clips of him in later years. It was like, wow, I've never seen this footage before, and the things that he did with the ball was just, this guy was just an incredible footballer. He for me, he's the greatest. I like it in any era, and when I first got into football myself as well, and it would be my dad and my uncles, and they would talk about players that played in the old First Division and all that. But when they would talk about players who transcended the world and who were great, first name that came up was Pele. And they would just talk about how good this guy was, and they even said back then, and he was the greatest. Considering we're going back to I'm talking late 70s, and they would say, yeah, he was the greatest ever footballer. And just like my dad would say, Bobby Moore's the greatest ever defender that he'd seen, but I think he's only saying that because he's a West Ham fan. But there you go. So you know what I mean. But yeah. So but he was just something, and what he did around the world. He was loved around the world, and I think he must have visited everywhere, man, because he paid homage to all the countries that I can think of. It doesn't matter how big or how small, in terms of a footballing nation, he would go there. I didn't even know until he visited Ireland. I didn't even know he'd visited Ireland. You know what I mean? This guy went everywhere, and he was just so loved, and no one had a bad word to say about him. Not at all.
Yeah.
On the pitch, off the pitch, no one did. And I thought, and it was a nice touch a few years ago with that Ballon d'Or because he'd never played in Europe. I think that he was given an award, wasn't he? I think it was what 2013 or 2014, 15.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, man. I remember that it was like, yeah, I just had to clap, I had to applaud, you know, because I think he would have tore up Europe if he had played in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Now, regardless of what league.
Well, like, Santos was still tearing up teams in Europe when he was there. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like, came and slapped Inter. Like, I've seen highlights from that as well. Like, and, yeah, you know, like so.
And to echo what you're just saying, Gunnar King, yeah, it's right because Santos also played Benfica,
Yeah,
and it was a night where he upstaged Eusebio.
yeah, and that was when they were in their peak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, European champions. You know, like. Stat padding, you know, sort of Portuguese titles as well. Like, you know, that was probably the peak of Benfica. You know, he just toyed with.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
just to summarize as well, my family, my elders would then say that the best World Cup they enjoyed was 1970. 1970 was just and they say what a World Cup that was, and the way Brazil just tore everybody up, and I think it was in one of the games when Jairzinho scored and he beat England, I think, in the knockout stages, and I remember watching highlights of that game, and it was all about Gordon Banks. If Gordon Banks was not in goal, I think Brazil would have had 5 or 6.
I think Pele had 2 iconic moments in that World Cup. One was the Pele, you know, the bank save from Pele's header.
Yeah.
And then
I know the other one.
You know, the best goal that never was. You know, where
the body swirl.
Where he kind of like dummied the keeper basically, and then he put the ball just wide. You know, I mean, those kind of things. Everybody knows those moments, and it's just 2 iconic moments of World Cup history. Yeah. Absolutely.
Gunnar King, what would you want to say on Pele, mate?
I mean, you know, words really can't describe how big a loss this is. This is like, you know, probably, you know, the biggest ambassador the sport has in living memory. The only man to win 3 World Cups. This guy rocked up to his first World Cup as a 17-year-old, scored 2 in a final against the host nation. You got to imagine, you know, like, you know, all the fans getting on your back, you know, to do it in that kind of pressurized situation. That was how he announced himself to the world. And I was just saying to all you guys just before, you know, like a good friend of mine, Stone Avenues out in Nigeria, has done an amazing video on, you know, like doing a lot of content on TikTok. A lot of the younger generation of this day, I feel they don't do enough to pay homage to history, to research it, to really look at it in detail, not just from an analytical standpoint, from just the beauty of it all, you know, like the guile, you know, like this generation just seems to be like, if it didn't happen in my lifetime, it didn't happen, you know, like, and you know, like the whole theme of the video is modern day techniques of wing play, of taking players on, where he just demonstrates, you know, the Ronaldo chop, you know, the quick changing of feet that Iniesta used to do, Zidane when he was doing like kind of flicks over people's head, the way that free kicks are struck, you know, like kind of like using your end step, opening up your body to find top corners. These are all things Pele did first. He you know, like this guy was a pioneering father in attacking play in general, you know, and you're still seeing, you know, like decades on, the feats that he carried out with his feet being used today in the modern game to great effect. You know, body feints, dropping his shoulder and turning, you know, like there's so much that he's given to the game, and you know, beyond his playing career, huge ambassador for the sport. You know, obviously, you know, having African heritage, seeing all the work that he would do out there to really kind of elevate, you know, the standard of training and coaching, and just raising the profile, you know, raising the floor of football in Africa and all over the world. You know, like this was his passion. You know, like his life work kind of continued, beyond his playing career in this way, and it's a huge loss, and my thoughts definitely go to his family. My father recently passed away, and he didn't like football. But he spoke about Pele. He spoke about Pele, and he spoke about sitting down to watch him. And he was just like, yeah, this guy was probably the greatest player, as Brenny was saying that he had ever seen as well. Messi in the modern era, Maradona, these guys, these guys, you look at Cruyff, who recently passed. These are innovating fathers, man, and it's always sad when you lose one, and I think hopefully him and Maradona are up there together having a samba. We all know they like to party, so yeah, it's just a huge loss for the sport.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree with you more. I just want to say on my terms, Sir Jeff Hurst put it perfectly yesterday. The greatest player he ever played with was Bobby Moore. The greatest player he's ever played against was Pele. And obviously I'm named after Bobby Moore, so Bobby Moore means a hell of a lot to me. And I know that Pele and Bobby Moore were very good friends as well, which says millions to me, because he's Brazilian, Bobby Moore's English. You just don't expect that kind of friendship from that kind of, especially back then where travel wasn't easy, but they were good friends. And for me, that just means everything to me. I know that he was struggling, so in a way, I'm glad he's at peace now. But it is still sad. I know he was 82 or 81 or something like that.
82, yeah.
82, yeah. So, it is one of those, but it is going to be sad. I've done an intro video for Moss that was covering the World Cup, and I made sure that I put Pele in that intro because it was, for me, World Cup, Pele, it just comes naturally.
Brazil's joint top goal scorer, 77 goals, 92 appearances.
Yeah.
And that goal scoring record has stood the test of time. Think of all the great Brazilian strikers that you've had, the Romarios, the Bebetos, the R9s, Adrianos, Jesus, come on,
Hey guys, can I just quickly add as well?
Yes,
I actually just remembered that Pele even visited Highbury.
Yes, in 81. 1981.
Yeah, back in the days. And I think it was 1980, 81 he visited.
81, yeah, he finished.
81, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everything. So the guy's been everywhere, man. I don't think he probably didn't go down the road at the time, but he thought, no, I've got to come to Highbury,
Yeah, well, they haven't existed since the 60s, so he wouldn't bother going there anyway.
Terry Neal was manager at the time. Terry Neal was probably saying, don't go down there, don't go down there.
Yeah, they just don't exist, do they? They still don't exist now. They're just for pure giggles now. I just want to get into the comments before we actually talk about the Brighton game. Big up to Cole. Personally, I think Arsenal should worry about their next few games. Brighton, Newcastle, Spurs and United. I'm not going to invite you on the preview now, Cole. Why have you put United in there?
Personally, all those teams should worry about us.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I have to be honest. I am slightly worried about the next two. I'm not worried about Spurs. What happens against Spurs happens against Spurs. It's a one-off game. It always has been. United game, I'm not worried about them. Yeah,
and we're at home.
The next two games, I agree with you, Bobby.
Yeah. They're the two I'm worried about.
Huge.
I'll be real. I'm more worried about Oxford United in the FA Cup than I'm about going to White Hart Lane and beating Spurs.
No, my youth.
The way they're playing at the moment. The way they're playing at the moment. Oxford will give us a tougher test, bro. I can't lie.
Oh yeah.
We'll have a nice pitch, so there's no levelers.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like a derby for me because I went to Oxford Uni, so I can't exactly be totally hateful against Oxford. So, big up to Tony. Hope you're feeling better, mate, as well. Because I hope that you look at these. See, this is why I'm not going to invite you onto the preview with me now, Cole. I know that's just how we do on full-time sports.
Bobby's just straight left, right, and centre from this guy.
Oh well, Cole just likes to wire me up. It's always fun. Luke, I don't do GOAT debates, but because I think it's purely subjective. Clearly, one of the best players of his generation. Great guy, cared a lot about people. Yeah, I don't agree with the GOAT thing. I've never have.
What I would say is he could definitely, if there's any player that could play in every generation, You know, like if there's anyone out there that thinks he could not have played in his prime in this modern era, just go watch some of the tackles the man rode. You know what I mean? Like what some of the pitches he played on. You know, like if you put him on these pitches, with the way referees just give in to the attacker every time the attackers, you know, like little pinky toe is touched, he could fit any era. You know, not sure some of these modern guys could go back and play in those days. You know, like so
they'd have injuries every week easily.
Yeah.
Just imagine it. It's crazy. Big up to James. Hope you're doing well, mate. Casido is suspended for this game, and McAllister isn't back yet from the World Cup. That doesn't affect the challenge later, so you can still pick those two if you want.
Oh, that does hugely.
Yeah. Our run is tough, but Man City's run is also very hard. Who've Man City got? Chelsea away, United away, Spurs at home, Wolves at home, and then Spurs away. They got two Spurs twice.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when they haven't played them? So I think we play Newcastle quite quickly, twice.
Oh, do we?
Do you know what hypothetical I've been running past Spurs fans? You know how last season they did the double over Manchester City, and they parade it like it's a trophy.
They won't do it this time.
Imagine they took points off City, to help us lift the title. That would be hilarious. I'll never let them live that down. I can't lie.
They won't do it.
Yeah.
They'll probably throw the game on purpose now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or they'll lose and say they threw it on purpose.
Cole, my response to this one is that is all down to a certain Oliver Cotton. Now, if he wasn't doing the watch along with me, I'm sure we would have won. Simple as that. Because Ollie said something you shouldn't have said in the game, and it backfired on us really badly. There's a way to do watch alongs, and you just don't do it. Big up to Ben Akel Marquez. I have just subscribed and support.
Yes.
Big up to you. Welcome, mate. Welcome to the family.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Guys, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do. And also, if you can just take a second to hit the likes, that really helps the channel grow. It gives us the exposure that we need to be able to grow our following, and then we can keep bringing you great Arsenal-related content.
Exactly. There you go. Right. I did some research yesterday.
Like it.
Now, weirdly, because I do it to exactly like league competitions. I ignore the FA Cup because they're just cup matches. They don't exist for me. Right. So we've only actually played 9 times against Brighton away. I was quite shocked by this. But look at those results. They aren't great, are they? Let's be honest. Obviously, drew 0-0 last time. Won 1-0, lost 2-1, drew 1-1, lost 2-1, lost 1-0, lost 2-1, beaten 1-0, and beaten 4-0 in 79. Brenny, can you remember that one?
I can't remember one in 79, but I can remember the one in 82. And I remember that was the same season Brighton reached the FA Cup final and got relegated.
Oh, was it? Well, that's happened with Wigan, isn't it?
I don't think that this time. But that's not a good record.
No, it's not. And this is what I was quite shocked with when I was doing it.
Backside, man.
Yeah.
They were saying that it's what's that first date? 92? Oh, sorry, I've done a typo. I do apologise. 92. To be fair, I do type them quite quick, so I do apologise. But I was quite shocked because I was listening to someone talking about the Arsenal saying this is our bogey team, and I was thinking, is it? Is it really? And I was thinking, actually, yes, it is.
Well,
I am nervous.
They haven't scored against us.
True, but
I know small pickings.
Yeah,
it's because a lot of people have said about Brighton and losing Potter and gaining De Zerbi, but a lot of people don't realise De Zerbi's done a heck of a lot in Italy, a heck of a lot. And you've seen how Brighton have played recently. They have been brilliant.
Yeah.
So they haven't really changed their style of play. They're still very attacking, very dangerous. Now, are you extremely nervous by Brighton? Because they could really upset us. If we were to lose to Brighton, our confidence will be down against the next big challenge, which is Newcastle at home.
I'll tell you the guy. Yeah, they've got the ultimate giant slayer in Trossard. Go and look at his record. Yeah, in his last 7 or 8 games against Big Six opposition, bro. He loves it. He loves it. Do you know what I mean? Hat trick against Chelsea, scored against us, scored against United, scored against City and Liverpool.
I think he got a hat trick against Liverpool as well.
Yeah, you got like this brother, man. He's a oh my god. I feel like we should just sign him just so that it's like he's not going to score against us. You know, that way he's on our book, so he can't score against us now. Like he's quality. This guy. We really need to watch him very closely.
Who's your big threat, Canners?
I was actually going to say him. The only thing I could say is probably what might be good is the fact that he had such a poor World Cup, and hopefully that kind of form continues, into this game. But yeah, for me, he's always someone who causes us problems. His movement, and he's clinical. He's really very clinical. Other than that, is Lallana fit? Yeah, he's fit. Yeah,
he scored against Southampton the other day as well. So
that's another problem. He's another problem because we have to do something on him because the last time, the 0-0 up at theirs last season, he ran the show.
He pulled strings.
So we got to score early. We score early, and I think we need
to score 2 as well.
Yeah.
Easy.
Brenny, who's your big threat, mate?
For me, it's Trossard as well. I don't know. I know, like I say, Lallana scored against Southampton the other day. I don't know who the other 2 scores were, but from what I've seen, he was playing up front and Lallana was playing behind him. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow because I'm guessing that Tariq Lamptey will probably return as well tomorrow because he didn't feature against Southampton, so he'll probably be playing right back tomorrow. So, and from the 11 that I saw, I don't know if that's going to be 11 we're going to face tomorrow. But Trossard will I'm sure he'll definitely play. And did you even see Brighton had the audacity to leave him out of the League Cup, the Carabao Cup side because he didn't start against. I don't even think he was on the bench.
Do you know who's going to be a problem as well? Welbeck. I know we laugh, but he is a problem. Yeah. He is a problem.
Yeah, when he's fully fit, he is a pain.
Yeah, and Mitoma as well.
Oh, Mitoma. So much time for this guy, bro. Yeah. I think the first time I watched him was when he came on as a sub against Tottenham. Yeah. And they were very unlucky to lose that game. I feel like they're a clinical striker away from being a very, very dangerous outfit. Like an outfit that is capable of staying in and around those European places and going to compete in Europe. Like, give them a bit more squad depth and a potent striker. And they're away, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see if they look to address that issue in the January transfer window. But they're a good side. I do think that Salcedo and McAllister being missing from their midfield are huge miss. And I think that's an opportunity we've really got to press on him. And as for McAllister, you guys keep an eye on him. I want him at the Emirates.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take him.
I can't see where he would fit into our team, honestly.
I think only Rice and one other midfielder have made more interceptions this season. But he can play. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can use both his feet, he can shoot, he can pass, he works hard. I think if you put him in that 8 the Xhaka's playing, given his age, 23, I think he could really grow into that role. I really, really like this player. And I think, it's going to be interesting to see what we do in January, but I think Arsenal have been starting to be linked to him well after his World Cup.
Yeah.
Just want to get into some comments because they're all starting to build up and I hate missing comments. No one is talking about Spurs dropping 2 more points. Ben Akel Marquez has gone for a 1-1 draw, so I will actually write that, Ben. because I do the
But
predictions
I'll tell you
later.
why we don't talk about Spurs dropping points. Shall I tell you what my New Year's resolution is? I'm going to stop talking to people that are grown up enough here to know that Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy don't exist, but believe that Spurs are a big club.
Brighton is everyone's bogey team. They need to be respected. Yeah.
That's true.
Colm is kind of right here. Take Trossard out of the game, and a lot of their threat is gone. Yeah, he does make a lot of
His
sense.
movement is mad. You know,
Yeah.
he's so clinical. He's so clinical.
James is also right with De Zerbi being from Shakhtar. He had a lot to do with Murderich. Colm is actually doing he would be happy with a 2-1 win to Arsenal. Gross the score and a Martinelli double for Mike. See, FPL, I'll get fed up with people talking about FPL. They should have sided it. Say that again, Gunnar.
Does he support United?
Yeah, Colm Sports United. Yeah. Yeah, he'll be doing the United preview with me.
Yeah.
He's my FCSN brother, so
I'll be sure to be there.
Well, hopefully I'm doing a preview for Newcastle on Sunday. I know we're doing one on Monday, but I'm trying to get a Newcastle fan for Sunday. John Sinclair, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of him. Big Geordie's really, really funny guy, really nice guy. Hopefully we're doing a preview on Sunday for the Newcastle, because that'll be interesting, because I wanted to get his perspective on it as well. I see McAllister going to United. Well, United get this sold first. Gunner King, less of the Santa talk. Right, yeah, he's a slight issue.
My bad. Sorry, man.
Right, teams.
But they're not a big club, though. Like,
I do apologise. I know you did do yours, but I didn't have to. It was too late, and I'd already typed them all up, mate.
Oh, okay. It's not going to be much different than what we got here anyway.
I think you've got the Zinchenko, haven't you, as left back?
Yeah.
So yours will be the next one. So yeah, it's just I just didn't have time to put your name on it, mate. So I do apologise.
No worries.
Right. So this was the lineups that Simon, Luke, Tony, Jack, and Miguel went for. Now, obviously, 10 players don't need to be talked about, really. Tierney, left back. Go. Brenny. Do you think that's the right move or the wrong move? Because I know you went for Zinchenko.
Do you know, it's like I was saying, if that's the side that Arteta picks tomorrow, I'll be happy with it. I went for Zinchenko because I thought that's what the boss would pick. You know what I mean? And I think with Zinchenko fit now, I think he will feature. But like I said, left back for me, I don't care who's playing out of the two, because I'm happy with both of them. You know what I mean? So it's doesn't bother me at all. That left hand. I'm happy with that left hand side, regardless of who we select, as long as it's not Cedric Suarez.
Well, I've gone for someone else at left back, so there we go. Canners, what do you think anyway of that one?
Regarding Tierney and actually, one thing, does Trossard play off the right or the left? He plays
mostly the left.
Mostly the left.
Mostly, but you can play on either side.
I might have a little bit of a different then. I might actually say that Tomiyasu plays right back and Zinchenko plays left back. I'll tell you why in a sec. Listen, Tierney played okay. I could see when I was watching him, I was trying to watch his position, and he was taken up on against West Ham, and he was trying to. He's obviously been working on Arteta's been working with Tierney, and what positions he's supposed to be taken up, etc., etc. And he did quite well. Only problem I have with he did have a bit of a problem against Bowen. Tierney did. I was watching the one-on-one between them closely. I just feel sometimes like, when for certain players, i.e. Rafinha, i.e. Salah, Arteta will put Tomiyasu at left back. And I understand why. On one-on-one situations, when they've got like someone playing off that right-hand side, one-on-one, Tierney's not as good as Tomiyasu, and there's a little bit of a drop-off with that. The only reason why I think he might play Zinchenko though at left back is because of the press from Brighton, and Zinchenko is comfortable on the ball. and he takes that position in the, you know, as another midfielder. It's more natural to him to do that than with Tierney. Tierney looks a little bit. He's still getting used to the idea of it, and that's why I think he'll play Zinchenko instead of Tierney. But I won't be unhappy if Tierney plays. I think it'll be harsh if he doesn't play. But I'm just thinking of those reasons, being, you know, being that little bit more comfortable and adding another number into midfield.
Yeah, fair enough. Gunnar King, what do you think?
I think for this game, I would stick with Tierney. It's an away game. I don't like bringing players back from injury when you're playing a difficult game away, and Brighton present that. I think Tierney's going to have the match fitness over all three of them. Tomiyasu came back from the World Cup with a knock. He's only returned to training this week. Not sure how comfortable I'd feel putting him on the left-hand side. And Trossard will be playing on the left-hand side. I think Ben White, the form he's in at the moment, I wouldn't really want to change that either. So I think I would go with this lineup. I like this lineup. I think I would stick with Tierney. I think what I'd do is I'd give Zinchenko minutes off the bench. You know, like just to kind of get his match fitness up. I think when he's, you know, he had a lot of injury issues in the tail end of the first quarter of the season. So I don't want to see him just started and then taken off. I want to see it happen the other way around. You know what I mean? Where he's kind of given minutes at the end of the game and slowly given more minutes off the bench until you feel comfortable he can start a game and then play to the 60th minute and then taken off at the 70th, 80th minute. I would rather he was integrated into the squad that way round rather than just put into the team and taken off as a sub at the end of it. Because one thing we can't afford is any more injuries. You know, we've seen Gabriel Jesus getting injured. Who's to say? I mean, I think that's changed our transfer strategy completely. I think we would have been happy with a winger and a midfielder. That you're seeing more links intensify with strikers. The last thing we need is to give ourselves more to do by rushing people back from injury and seeing them cropped on the sideline again. So yeah, that's how I'd approach it. Start with Tierney, give him 60, 70 minutes. You know, hopefully we can be in a comfortable position. If we're in a comfortable position, take him off in the 60th and give Zinchenko a little run out, you know, at the end, 30 minutes, just to kind of get his match fitness up.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And Brenny's actually gone for this. So has G Talks, Tim and Moss. They just literally just put Zinchenko in there. So obviously we've talked about this. Now I've gone for something different. I've sat down and just thought of something different. Now I know you're going to all have a go at me, and that's fine. But they all play for the Arsenal, so they all entitled to the shirts. I've gone for something totally different. I've actually dropped Xhaka because I think that Xhaka is more needed for the Newcastle game than he is for the Brighton game. And if anything happens, I'm not saying it will, but I'd rather keep him for the Newcastle game. So I've put Zinchenko in midfield. I'm not convinced with Tierney at the moment. As Cannon said, I've watched him a lot, and I find he just suddenly just gets lost. And I'm like, go back to where you're meant to be. You're a left back. You've always been a left back. Why are you trying to go into centre midfield? You just don't look right there at all.
I think, he's been told to, and he doesn't. He's not comfortable with it. He's been told to.
But he's doing what Arteta's telling him to do. To be clear,
he's just not comfortable with it. He just doesn't seem comfortable with it, and you can see that, and you know, and it kind of like he's thinking about it rather than it being natural for him to do that. He's never done it in his life.
Exactly.
Never.
No. Well, I was a right back, so I can say that if someone told me to go into centre midfield, I'd be like, "What the heck are you on about? What am I meant to be doing?" I just want to try Zinchenko in midfield. Lino Sousa for me, decent left back. I think he's one of our future left backs. And I've obviously dropped Nketiah. I'm going to stick with this. And I know he scored a great goal, and he did score a great goal, but I still think he went missing against West Ham. So I've gone for something different, putting Saka on the left, Vieira on the right, and Martinelli up front. I just think it's something different. I know it will never get picked, but it's just something different. Because obviously we're just literally doing two lineups with the only change being Tierney or Zinchenko. I wanted something different to talk about. So I just thought that was quite an interesting lineup. I don't know what you guys think. I'll go with Brenny first because he's smiling, so he's probably going, "What are you on about? What you been drinking?"
Sasso as a left back. I mean, I know he's been doing well with the under 21s, but for a game as big as this, you see, I would play him against Oxford United.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, I'll play him against Oxford.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, you know, but for me, it's Tierney or Zinchenko in that left back spot for tomorrow. But I do think Mikel will go with Zinchenko. But the Vieira, well, Vieira can do a job in the first team anyway. But I just think it's going to be. It's also going to be very physical tomorrow against Brighton because their physical side, they like to press. And I think it's like, I get the Xhaka thing, but I think for a game of this magnitude, Granit Xhaka has to play tomorrow. He has to start for me. You know, I think, you see, against, I know, you see, Xhaka for me is a machine, and I think he will feature against Brighton and Newcastle. Saka can left, but I just love the way he's been playing out right and just been cutting inside. Martinelli, he can play up front, but you can't play him for a run of games up front. But I would see Eddie would start tomorrow for me because I thought Eddie got through. I thought he was brilliant the other night, and as well as the goal, I thought the confidence that Eddie's got now, it'd be unwise to leave him out tomorrow. And that just destroy his confidence again. And I'm like, nah, man, you've got to, you know, he'll go into the Brighton game now full of confidence. No disrespect to West Ham, but Brighton a tougher opposition. So I would still go with Eddie Nketiah up front tomorrow.
Fair enough. Canners, what do you think? You think I'm mad? I will big up. I will big up to Mehmet because he did actually help me with this. So
yeah, no, I don't think it's mad. I think it's interesting. I mean, I agree with Brenny in regards to Sousa playing against Oxford. You know, bring him in for a debut. It's a big game to bring him in. You know, for a debut. The thing about Vieira, Zinchenko. The thing is, again, you have to play Xhaka. I think he's one of the first for Arteta anyway. You know, he's always one of the first names on that team sheet. I just come to me as well about regarding this first 11. And quick question, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Is this game more important than the Newcastle game? Which game's more important?
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
So then, would he play White at centre-back and Tomiyasu at right-back, knowing that Saliba's on the yellow?
Ooh.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
It's a risk. It will be a calculated risk, and
it'll be a huge risk. Why not?
I mean,
because do suspensions count for FA Cup games?
They do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They do.
So when are we playing? Are we playing Brighton and then Oxford, or is it Brighton, Newcastle?
Brighton, Newcastle, then Oxford.
Then Oxford.
I would drop him for this game.
Tell him to get a little tactical yellow card in the next one.
Yeah.
But I think looking at this for me, I think
I'll be happy with White and Tomiyasu coming in. I don't think that would that wouldn't weaken us.
No.
You know, as much as someone like Partey missing from the midfield would weaken us, and you would see that. I don't think White playing centre back and Tomiyasu coming as right back, that would weaken us so much at all. And I would if if he's thinking the same way. I just thought about it. He's on a yellow card, and invariably away from home with the crowd, conditions, whatever they are, he'll be a big loss against us, against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Sorry. I digress from the actual first.
I mean,
I just thought about it.
It's a valid point, definitely. I think it's something I would consider. In terms of this lineup, I think Sousa. When you look at our run of games against Brighton, it's not good, and they are a very physical side. I just don't think this is the right game away from home to bring him in for.
Yeah.
Vieira as well. Like, listen, he's got everything on the ball in terms like his technical ability. I went to the Juventus game with Gums and you could see it, but when it comes to like that burst to beat a man or that strength to hold them up, like when you're carrying the ball, he's not developed that yet. I don't think this is the right game to start him. And for me, yes, Saka can play across the line, but he should never move from the right side. He should never, like the way he's cutting inside to shoot now. And I don't know if you've noticed, right, since the World Cup, since a few games before, he's not necessarily always hugging that touchline anymore. You saw the goal for West Ham where he was in the box, and I think now more than ever, we need that goal threat. Without Jesus being there, we need that goal threat. And I'm just not convinced Saka poses the same goal threat on the left-hand side because he's cutting inside onto his weaker foot. Being on his stronger foot is taking him away from goal, and it's making the angle harder for him to shoot when he finds a shooting line. So, yeah, I don't think Saka and Martinelli, under any circumstances whatsoever, should be removed in this situation from where they've been playing. And yeah, again with Nketiah and his confidence, I think to kind of bench him now after he listen. We all know these players. They look on social media. They got Twitter accounts. They got Instagram. They got ears. They got eyes. They hear it. Even the pundits are probably running his name into the ground, saying, "Look, I don't think Nketiah is going to have what it takes to maintain Arsenal's title challenge." So for him to then go and score against West Ham and you bench him, it's
a killer. It's a body blow, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm all for being sentimentless, for the betterment of the team, but I just don't see the benefit of doing that. For me, he's got to start. We do need to get another striker in the transfer window. I maintain that. Even if it's someone on loan, but yeah, I think Eddie can play a big part tomorrow. And I agree with Brenny as well. I thought, okay, yeah, some of his work on the ball could have been better in the first half against West Ham, but off the ball, the work, what he does to, sort of lead the press from the front, that's one thing that him and Jesus both have in spades. He might not have the quality on the ball that Jesus has, but yeah, he definitely, I think that will definitely come in handy against Brighton tomorrow. Their defenders aren't the most comfortable on the ball, for the most part. And I think that's something that Eddie's willingness and ability to press can exploit as well.
Yeah. Big ups to CHB Mahudin. I do apologise if I got your surname wrong. He was happy with definitely not my lineup, I'll guarantee you that. One of the first two lineups. Would love to see Zinchenko in midfield. I would as well. I think I've watched him play there for Ukraine and he's brilliant. Not keen on Fabio playing right wing forward though. Eddie is going to ball according to Tony. Big up to our sponsors and Adam. Afternoon. The link is in the description for the website for global mapping surveys, and all the descriptions down the bottom as well, running across the bottom of the screen. Big up to Ibrahim. I do apologise, Udu. Good afternoon to you. I do apologise if I get your surname wrong. All the top dogs on the panel today. Big up to you, Adam. And big up to Munzie. Let's go, Brighton. Of course he is. That's Munzie. Right, so we know what's coming. I do. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
I said that, and it's not the video one playing. Okay, so we're doing the 5 from Brighton, 6 for Arsenal. But because the Brighton are the home team, they have advantage with their formation. So it's 2 defensive midfielders with an attacking midfielder, right wing, left wing, forward. So I'm going to let Gunnar King choose first on what Brighton player and where we're putting him. And it can be people that aren't available, so don't worry about that.
Trossard on the left, I think, is the first obvious choice. Not better than Martinelli, but I suppose.
Did you say Trossard? Sorry.
Yeah, Trossard, yeah.
Sorry, the sound went a bit weird on my ear. Okay, Brenny, who are you choosing, mate?
Well, because I know him and I like the kid and he's a friend of my son's, I got to go with Tariq Lamptey at right back.
Fair enough. There we go. Okay, Canners.
Is there one there for the keeper, Sanchez?
Yeah. What's his name? Is it Robert Sanchez?
Yeah,
Robert Sanchez.
Yeah. It's only because it's going to be a lot easier to find his name. There we go. Gunnar King.
I'll go with my guy McAllister.
Where are we putting him? CAM?
No. One of the 8 positions.
Okay. It's going to be hard to find him in it. McAllister. No.
MACALLISTER.
Yeah, nothing comes up. No results.
It's Mac, MAC, and then Alistair. So it's a space. So it's Mac space Alistair.
See, it's going to be one of those because you can't.
No, you put MC,
What's his first name?
Alexis. But it's Mac, MAC.
There we go. There you go. Yeah. It's easier with his first name than it was with his surname. Unbelievable. Right. Brenny, I'll let you choose the 5th one.
Lewis Dunk.
Okay.
Centre back.
All right, there we go then. Right, so forward, we're going for Eddie up front then, or we're going with Jesus due to the fact it doesn't really matter if he's injured or not.
Yeah, Jesus definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Right wing, Saka.
Yeah.
It has to be.
CAM, I'm going to guess we're going to go with Odegaard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right, the last defensive midfielder role. Do you want to give it to Xhaka or do you want to give it to Partey? Or Lokonga? Up to you.
I'd go Partey, me. I'd say
Partey. I would as well.
Partey.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go then. Okay, left back. This could be interesting. So who are you choosing out of Tierney or Zinchenko? I'll let you vote.
I'd go Zin.
Brenny?
Zinchenko.
Gunnar?
Yeah, I'd go with Zinchenko as well, if he's fit.
It's full house. Are we going for the Saliba at back?
Yeah.
I would have gone for Gabriel, saying it's the left centre back. But
but that don't really matter. Oh, you're one of those. Right, so this is the lineup. We've got Robert Sanchez in goal, Lamptey, Lewis Dunk, Saliba, Zinchenko, Partey, McAllister, Odegaard, Trossard, Saka, Jesus. Now, I have to say, I would literally have 2 of those players in our lineup right now. Easily. And I think that'd make it Trossard and McAllister.
Okay.
In that position.
Can I just give some honourable mentions to Mitoma and Salcedo as well?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. What about Estepunian? Is it Estepunian?
Yeah.
Where's he from? Is it? It's Ecuador, isn't it?
Ecuadorian.
Yeah. Pascal Gross, you could put in there. They got a decent team, man. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Big up to Brighton. But okay, so we're going into predictions. I shall let Canners go first due to the fact I've let the other 2 go first.
I got my prediction right last time. I just want to slip that in there. I said 3-1, didn't I?
Yeah, so did Brenny, actually. So did James.
Right,
So I've got a big up to James as well, and because he's not here. But Canners, what are you going for, mate?
All right. Do you know what? I'm going to go for 3-0 Arsenal.
Okay. Rennie?
That was the scoreline I was going to go with, by the way. Sorry, but
Rennie, what are you going with?
For me, it's 2-1 this time.
To the Arsenal.
Yeah.
All right. Gunnar King, you going to stick with 3-0 or do you want to do something different?
3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
I'm going to ruin everyone's party. I'm going to say 1-1. I even think it's 1-1 or 2-2. I've got a feeling it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a tricky one. And I really do think that. I'm going to go with 2-2, actually. I've got a feeling 2-2 more accurate. I'm doing the watch along, so I hope for a 3-0, just so I'm happy. But I went for a 1-1 last time, and West Ham shocked me. They were awful. I was quite badly disappointed with them. Eddie, not all right. Big up to Cole. You do realise it's an Arsenal channel, Cole. They will
just remember that in 2023 you are repping Martial as your main striker.
There you go. So you dipped your toes into an Arsenal channel.
4 goals in about 2 years, buddy.
Pascal Gross not picked. To be fair, there's only 5 we can pick, so there was still some honourable mentions because they have actually got a very good lineup. Big up to Nippon. Hope you're doing well, Chelsea fan. Gunnar, when is your next big Succession stream?
Should be looking to get that back on the road. Early next year.
All right, there you go. So I just wanted to let you answer the question. Colm's going for 2-1. So Colm, I'm going to put that down. Matoma is the one you need to watch for. I think he'll be up against Ben White, won't he? So
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting one, I have to admit. But Ben White, for me,
no, because he'll be on the right, won't he? I think that they'll probably play Trossard on the left, so he'll be against the left back.
I've seen more Matoma on the left.
You think they'll put Trossard on the right?
Yeah, because I've definitely seen Matoma played more on the left than I have seen him on the right. Canners, have you seen Matoma played more on the left or the right?
I on the right.
Have you?
No, sorry, left. Left.
Yeah. That's why I've only seen him play on the left. I haven't really seen him play on the right. Brenny, have you seen the same as well?
Yeah, it's on the left hand side.
If Trossard plays on the right, we definitely need to hit him, bro.
But bearing in mind with Trossard, he could also play up front.
Yes,
Trossard.
Yeah. Exactly.
He could even play up front tomorrow. I mean,
I think that might be what they do. You know.
Yeah.
I think they did that against Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah, and he played up front against Southampton the other day. So.
Yeah. Big up to Luke. He's gone for a 2-1 to Brighton. Wouldn't shock me. I'm kind of prepared for a defeat, if that makes sense. If you're prepared for it, it doesn't hurt so much.
I'm sick and tired of these goddamn Seagulls, man. We got to slap them.
I think if we start quick and strong, we'll be okay. But it all, I just, when you just know when Arsenal are on it in the first 5 minutes of a game, you just know if we're on it, and hopefully, it doesn't take until half time for us to kind of pull a finger out and get into the game. Yeah.
Big up to Nippon. He's gone for 2-1 to the Arsenal. Colm has returned with a comment. I'll put that up in a minute. Tony, 2-0 to the Arsenal. Colm has put, Eddie has played 13 games this season and scored once. Martial, 6 played, 3 goals.
All I've got to say, sometimes you just got to take your hat off, and you've got to say, what a trophy in the last 5 years for United.
I might have to invite you when I do a show with Colm.
One game, didn't he? I think.
Most of those appearances are from the bench.
No, they've got a goal difference of 3. They are chatting when Erling Haaland has literally scored 3 goals less than your whole club, bro. Like have some shame, bro. Yeah, please. All right, relax, man. Relax. Yeah.
I'll enjoy chatting with you next, Colm. That's for certain. Nippon's gone for McAllister, Odegaard, Matoma, the goal scorers. Oh, okay. McAllister, Odegaard, and Saka, the goal scorers. Got you. Right. So I just want to quickly go through what we've got coming up because we've got so many games in such a short space of time. We've got so much happening. So I've got the watch along tomorrow. Hopefully, I've got a lounge preview with a Newcastle fan on Sunday. But then we're doing the Arsenal preview for the Newcastle game on Monday. Then I'm doing the watch along on the Tuesday. Then we've got the preview for the Oxford game next weekend. Then guess what? I've got watch along Oxford Arsenal on the Monday because it's a Monday night game. So yeah, that's all I can think of that's planned. There will be obviously some transfer talk as it happens. I've heard that we should be signing someone by the FA Cup third round. Don't know who.
Mudryk.
But as I said, I don't know who, but I've been told that by the FA Cup third round is when they want at least one in. So we should wait and see. But yeah, what's your talk about the Mudryk? Are you excited about this possibility of being signed? I'll start with you, Gunnar King, because I know you've been very vocal on Twitter about him.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, I was just reading.
Are you excited? No, it's all right. Are you excited about the Mudryk signing if we do get him?
The Mudryk's that's the signing that's the potential signing that excites me more than any, even Felix. This kid looks special, man. Like, you know, what he can do with his feet, the pace and the power involved in his game. I think like his Champions League record, I think he created like the most chances, recorded like the fastest speed in the opening round. There's another couple of really impressive metrics that he's had in the Champions League. I think he's got like he's just had a really good season so far. You know, like to start. You know, I think for me, yeah, I want that guy. I think like he can play on both sides. He's an Ampidel, so yeah, his ability to use his both feet means he can help us if we need to rest Saka as well as Martinelli, or if we wanted to use Martinelli, you know, as a striker. That's the guy I want, man. The guy wants to come. You know, we were playing West Ham the other day. I don't know if anyone saw his Instagram story.
Yeah, he was watching it.
You know, like,
and according to rumours, he was in London as well.
Like it's like ever, man. I don't
know, because I know you're a big TikToker, Gunnar, and so there's a guy called It's Dord. He's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
and he was doing about this reflection of the tablet and saying the light bulb is only purchasable in the UK, so he must have been in the UK. And I'm like, are you seriously that sad that you're looking at a light bulb to say that he's in the UK? And I'm like, what are you on about? He could be anywhere.
Yeah, well, I think that's what caught up with that Andrew Tate guy, isn't it? The pizza boxes that are only available in Romania. So yeah, you know.
Canners, who are you looking forward to signing out of all the ones that we're linked with?
Oh, I would. Do you know what the thing is? I've got a little bit scared on Mudryk. I would have said, like, you know, 24 hours ago I would have said Mudryk, but then I saw. I just remember being so excited watching Pepe's YouTube reel. And then if you have a look now, yeah, no, seriously, if you have a look now, have a look at Pepe's goals for us.
I know.
Listen, if that was a player we was interested in and you saw him scoring those goals, you'd be like, oh my God, get this guy in now. YouTube can make anyone look good. Look, I'm hoping if we do get this kid, you know, it works out for us. A lot of money's, you know, it's a big money thing. But I think, for me personally, I think if we get João Felix over the line on a loan with a mandatory or option to buy, I think that would be a fantastic bit of business for us. I think that's what we bar it. Well, you know, disregard what I just said.
The way I see it
is the one I want.
The way I see it, is it a little too much to ask for both? An 8 million loan fee. You'd only have to pay his wages, which will put like another 8 million on it. And apparently, there might be a chance that we can get Atletico to offset some of his wages. And also, there is talk that it might not be mandatory to put an option or an obligation to buy it.
Yeah, no, I think that would be an option. At least an option needs to be in there, because if he smashes it, that's it. It'd be a stupid thing. But for me, I think the player or the position we definitely need, first and foremost, And the player that's been touted where I think is within our grasp is Savo Milosevic.
You mean Milinkovic Savic?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you meant. I know what you
I
meant.
know
Yeah,
what about him.
yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah.
Yes,
But-
I totally agree with that one. Yes,
Him
Brennan?
above the
I love
other two.
Savic.
yeah. Brennan,
Well, this is the thing, though. You know what? Like, we're veering on a bit of a tangent here. Chelsea have apparently come very close to agreeing a fee for Enzo Fernandez, and they're getting Badshil. Enzo Fernandez could cost them up to 120 million euros. Badshil is going to cost them like another 30 to 35 million pounds. They already spent 279 million, something like that. Their spending is going to go over 400 million. Now, you know what I'm thinking? There's a certain Declan Rice, you know. They also want to get Garvadil. They also want to get Pedro Leal. Could this leave us a clear runway to go at Declan Rice at the end of the season?
Stop it.
I would like that. If we get Champions League, listen, the party replacement or / competition, if you're looking at players, it's such a finite position. Like, I don't know. I've scoured everywhere, all the leagues, and I'm just like, and I just think, look, he's got the Premier League experience. You see the interview that he did after the game the other day, where he was full of praise for us, and Arteta as well walked up, gave him a big hug after he had done his own interview. Listen, I think, has that left the door open? Especially if Chelsea don't get top 4, and they're 8th at the moment.
There's a silence is deafening. I know
It'd be at the end of the season. It wouldn't be in January, to be clear. It would be at the end of the season, but because at the end of the season, he's only going to have 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
So they ain't getting no 100, 150 million for him. They'll get 60, 70 million for him, max. Just think, like 23, 24 years old, just coming into his prime. Partey, 29, 30, just coming out of his. You know, that would be a serious level raiser.
Yeah.
Serious level raiser.
Brenny?
I like him. I like Declan Rice.
Brenny, who would you like to sign this January from all the ones that we linked with, or if there's someone else random?
This January, I'll be real, because players that I'd like to see now, I don't think we'll see him until the summer. And that's, I'm still a big Tielemans fan. We won't see him. We won't get him January. I see him as a summer signing. But Felix, I would like to see. I mean, I'd take Felix and I'd take Modric. You know what I mean? I'd take both of them. You know, I think with Mihajlo Modric, I mean, he could be, from what I've seen of him, I've been impressed, but I've got to go with what Canners are saying. It was a really good point with regards to with Pepe's goals. You know, from what I saw, what Damien put on this morning, but it was like, wow.
Do you know what I see?
Sorry, Gunnar, go on, man.
No, carry on, Brenny. Sorry.
I was just saying, all I was going to say was that Modric, he could be, I don't want him to obviously go, if we get him, I don't want him to go down that same road as Pepe. I still think there's a good player in Pepe. But also, from looking at it from a past perspective as well, I'm hoping if he does come to the club in January, he can be influential. He can lift the club, lift the fans like Nicolas Anelka and Reyes did. You know what I mean? I hope we can get something on that level. You know what I mean? So I would like to see both Modric and Felix in January.
I think
that would lift the squad. It would lift the fans, and it could push us on.
The scare I have is that we need a midfielder, man, because if Partey goes in, we're in trouble. The drop off.
Sorry.
No. Just the drop off with if Partey gets suspended or injury is huge.
It is.
This is the discussion we were having, like in Eagles group chat earlier. I think for me, I think Mudryk and Felix. I think with Mudryk, why I don't worry about him potentially having the same sort of career trajectory that Pepe did when he came here, Pepe was always very good on the ball. He was always very quick. But like in terms of like his physical strength, you could already see like that wasn't something he had in spades in France. Whereas like I've been on Mudrik's Instagram, bro. Like I've seen him like training, like doing his weight training, you know, doing his squats and his deadlifting. This guy is strong, bro. He's got like he's just got that kind of like he's got that more like that to his that as a feather to his bow. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you look at what is needed to help with an adaptation for a wide or an attacking midfielder in the Premier League, I think like pace and power are two prerequisites. This is a guy who is lightning quick and very strong, you know. So I think I don't worry about what he can do with the football because we've all seen it, you know, like in terms of like, you know, I'm seeing him doing like just all these tricks on his Instagram that are just ridiculous, you know, like, so for me, it's just, I feel like the difference that he has from Pepe is that physical element to his game that I think will help him adapt. And I think Tony put in the comment section that he thinks Felix is flimsy. I don't think he's flimsy, but I don't think he has to the level that Mudryk has that physicality to his game. So, you know, Felix has also played as a second striker rather than an out-and-out one, more, you know, or false nine quite a lot. But this midfield quandary, man, for me, I just think it is. We are gonna a lot of fans I've been speaking to have been getting into the excitement of Mudryk and Felix, and even if we got them and didn't get a midfielder, we could get by with it. And it's a dangerous narrative. It's a dangerous one. I would like to just go get a McAllister. It'd be 35, 40 million, or a Salcedo, someone like that as well, just to kind of just. I don't think we'll get the 6 because I think the 6 is very specialist, and I think what my mates have been saying is we'll get those two so that we can make a big play for a really good 6 at the end of the season. But I think even if you just bring in an 8, you know, like just to kind of give us a bit more depth from the perspective of even if you get an 8th with a bit more defensive qualities, because Odegaard can press, Xhaka can press, but he can be a bit rash in the tackle when you're asking him to sit a bit deeper and tackle, which is why we've pushed him further forward now. Lokonga is raw, you know, like Vieira and ESR. Are these guys gonna like be effective in the press, or like when they're having to drop deep and make some interceptions and win the ball? Like get an 8, there can be a bit more of a ball winner if you can't get a 6, if that makes sense. I think we really need to not take our eye off the centre of midfield. This is why I've said I'd want us to get 3 players, and I really wish Jesus didn't get injured because then I would have been happy. I would have said get a winger and get a central midfielder. You know, it's kind of forced our hand a bit, and it's just we need a centre midfielder. I think, like in terms of a profile, someone that can just muck in a bit more defensively than the other ones beyond Odegaard and Xhaka that we already have. In the event that Partey gets injured, which I guarantee you, he is not staying fit for the whole run-in at the end of the season.
He's not doing it.
Listen, I would love to be wrong. I'd love to sit at the end of the season with a league title in the Europa League after he's like, you know, sort of maintained his fitness throughout it all and helped us win one or both of them. But
God, I completely forgot about the Europa League in the latter stages of that. I mean,
the latter stages, it's the thing, you know, like, all my friends have been like, oh, he's been all right first half of the season. And it's like first half of the season, he's had the benefit and the luxury of being able to be rotated out for the Europa League group games because of the low level of opposition. You're not going to have that luxury if you face a Barcelona, a Juventus, or an Atletico Madrid, who I'm sure they drop down as well. Yeah. So you come up against any of those teams, you're resting Thomas Partey? I don't think so. Yeah, and then a few days later, he's rocking up in the Premier League. You know,
but then you know that's why we probably need 3 players because the same.
Yeah, we need 3.
Say for Saka or Martinelli, the same thing could be obviously if Jesus or Nketiah get injured or whatever it is. We definitely. I don't know what's going to happen. I'd be happy with one because that shows some level of ambition for but I think we need 2 or 3 at the very least. But we definitely need someone definitely needs to come in. If no one comes in and at the end of January, I'll be made that'd be alarm bells.
I'm not going through what I went through last season. You remember, Canis, that I told you so you had for me, bro. I was like, no, listen, we're in a strong position with 4th. Surely this board are not going to look at that situation and not address it. And that's exactly what they did. And then Tottenham addressed it, and what did they do?
Yeah,
you got Liverpool gone out and got Gakpo. Chelsea are going great guns again in January, even though they dropped bloody, they dropped a bank on their summer window. We can't assume that they're going to be as bad. I think Newcastle will invest. Tottenham, if they don't invest, Conte's going to leave. They're going to invest. They are going to invest. He'll get at least 2 players. He'll get 100 million, I think. So. Wow. This is the thing, man. If we can't afford to let the teams around us strengthen and not strengthen correctly.
I think what happened
this time, we can't do it.
Yeah. No, I think what happened, when we got rid of a lot of players, put us in a position to do what we should do now. I think the only player really we'd probably say would probably have to leave, or it is. Allowed to leave would be Cedric. That's the only player. But other than that, we should be in a position now where the squad now needs to be padded out and filled out. Some meat on the bones with similar quality or potential. Like immediate potential to be of similar quality.
Yeah. What I would say is, to one comment, Saido is meant to be leaving in January. There has been massive talk about it. Supposedly he is meant to be leaving. Don't know who, but I've been told it's somewhere in the Premier League.
Who's meant to be leaving? Sorry,
Saido from Brighton. He is meant to be leaving.
Oh, Salcedo, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know his name. Yeah,
I knew you meant. He's a good player. Very good
and
player.
The other interesting will be, I know it's going to not linked with us, to see how Soyuncu leaves Leicester. Now he's being signed by Atletico, but it's interesting to see if there's a transfer fee on it. Because if he does leave for money, Tielemans will have to leave for money in January because they won't let his contract down.
I've heard that Soyuncu is going to join Atletico free at the end of the season.
There is talk that he might be signing for him in January for a bit of a fee. If there is a bit of a fee, I would suggest that Leicester are going to try and get money wherever they can find it because they are in severe financial problems.
Yeah.
So, and if obviously their form isn't the greatest either. I just want to get back to some comments before we find where everyone is. It's amazing. I get blasted when I believe Arsenal. To be fair, Colm has always said that Arsenal will win the league, and he has said that with proper chest.
I've definitely said we can win it. Whether we're going to is a different thing, and I think there's certain people that try and inflate me saying can and will, and try and just make it seem like I'm saying we are going to win the league. This team has the quality to be able to stay where we are. I think if we make the right additions in January, we can stay where we are. But it's not going to be easy. City are this well-oiled machine that've been there, done it, bought the T-shirt. And
I don't even want us to beat City. I just don't want to lose against City. That is
we can't sleep on Newcastle, bro. Exactly. I keep saying this. I know everyone keeps saying they're going to drop off.
Yeah, but I think Newcastle will drop points against other teams. But Man City, they just steamroll.
They've only lost one game this season.
I know.
And they've played Chelsea. They won. They played United. They drew. They played Liverpool. They lost. Liverpool's the only game
they lost against Chelsea, didn't they?
No, they beat Chelsea.
No, they beat Chelsea, bro.
Yeah, spanked them.
They beat Spurs. Do you know what I mean?
They last season. Sorry.
Yeah. They've now got the best defensive record in the league, the most clean sheets, 8, only conceded 12 goals, so they're not conceding either. That Botman guy, he's a serious problem, man. That's Sven Botman. Burns been outstanding. You've got Bruno Guimaraes. I don't know why we let them get this guy, bro. I don't know why we did that last season. I don't know why we did that, right? But anyway, moving on. Yeah, Almiron, You know, like Saint Maximum and Isak haven't been fit. They're coming back now, and they're going to invest. And you know, I'm hearing they're looking at Salcedo. I'm hearing they're looking at Maddison. The quality they're looking at, Eddie Howe, what he's doing. I am not sleeping on Newcastle. For me, I think they could push on and become title contenders. I've said it. They're not. I don't think they're dropping out the top 4, but they could.
No.
The right 1 or 2 signings, they could come right up there with us.
Yeah,
they could definitely.
Reyes' debut goal. That was against Middlesbrough. It's an own goal.
Yeah.
In the League Cup semi-final.
Don't understand why we didn't go for Benica. Is that the one that we used
to
have?
AC Milan, yeah. Used to play for us as well.
He was plus, yeah.
That's what Colm has read. You need a player that can intercept the ball the way Gunnar King intercepts people talking like That's for my Monday, Gunnar King. Don't worry, that's just a Monday trying to watch you up. Big up to Monday. We still haven't signed.
Love Zach.
So I guarantee whatever business we've done will be done in the first 2 or 3 weeks. There will be no final week signing.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Modric's deal's been done already.
The thing is, I loved the way that Arteta actually came out and stated it, like just vocalized it. You know, he said, I think what's allowed us to start so well this season was getting all of our signings in early, so they were bedded in way into the pre-season. Like he did it.
Why didn't we do that before?
Yeah, I know.
I've been screaming, get your business done early. I love a boring summer. It can be nice and exciting at the start, and then the rest of it boring. Get them in. Go on all the tours. Get the pre-season games in.
He's done another interview recently, Canners, where he said that's what we are intending to do this January. Sorry, he came out and he was like, in an ideal world, we'd do the same thing again.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the work that's going into this Mudryk deal. Like I'm hearing, they're not far on the fee. It's just how it's structured. Like in terms of
this one's aimed at you from a Monday.
On Monday's killing. We need to go back onto the agenda, man.
Let me tell the Monday something, bro. Yeah, let me tell this guy something, bro. Yeah, right. You're gonna bring your ass here, yeah, for the 22nd of January, yeah. In fact, yeah, we're gonna do we should do a joint watch along, yeah, with the agenda, bro. I want to see the look on his face, bro. I want to see it, yeah. I want to see the look on his face, yeah, when we deal with these guys at the Emirates, bro. Yeah.
That'd be one heck of a game, to be fair.
Yeah.
We're gonna win the league. We're gonna win the league. Now you gotta believe us. Now you gotta believe us. I don't know. No, these next couple of games are fine. 4 or 5.
Yeah, these next few games will definitely test our credentials. Definitely. So yeah, it's all about suspensions, injuries, and keeping the momentum, the winning momentum.
Seen that run that City have got as well. Tottenham twice, Chelsea twice, I think. Yeah, you know.
And they're not like untouchable, Man City. They're just they're not. So you know, there's every chance Newcastle can win it. So we have to be honest. And Newcastle are in second or third now. I don't know.
Third now, yeah, but they're only a point behind City.
There.
They're 2 points behind City. They're 2 points behind City. Sorry, my bad. And yeah, like. City have scored 7 more goals than us, but our defense is better than this. Yes, and defensively, we have been better than them. So I think that's what makes it a really interesting matchup with the two teams. You know, I think, defensively, we look a bit more solid. You look at Pep; he's been chop and changing his back four all season, whereas ours has just been settled. But obviously their attack is just a monster.
I can't wait for the matchup Saliba versus Haaland. I can't wait for that.
That's box office, bro. Like that is literally that is the money fight that everyone wants to see this season, bro.
That's my thumbnail. Haaland against Saliba on my thumbnail when I did the watch along. It's just going to be epic.
That's going to be like Mayweather versus Pacquiao kind of levels, kind of like you want to see kind of thing. So yeah, I can't wait to see that matchup. But you know what? I bet you Arteta puts Gabriel on Haaland. I just think that he'll put Gabriel on Haaland. That I just or let one, either or deal with them. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I just can't wait to see that matchup, man. It's just epic box office stuff.
Amondi's coming back saying the 22nd is part 2 of our killing spree.
Bro, who you killing down there in fifth,
fun
bro?
to do a preview of those guys.
Who you killing down there in fifth, bro? Fifth.
Colm saying this, not me.
God.
When Liverpool's Poundland Andy Carroll scores a winner against City. Anyone that doesn't know that, that's Darwin Núñez. Just so and Saliba has made a Haaland-shaped space in his pocket. Big up to Tony. Big up to everyone. Big up to. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. My partner's going to kill me, but never mind.
It's saying that time flies when you're having fun.
It does, exactly, and that's what it's like on the Armoury. It's just us chatting. Really, you forget the cameras there sometimes. Just 3 of us just chatting, and it's just lovely. Canners, where can everyone find you, mate?
Everyone can find me on Twitter, Canners at 2204. And also, resident as you're aware on the Armoury TV. So that's where you can find me, man.
Big up to you, Canners.
Also, at the Emirates, every time there's a home game.
Brenny, where can they find you, mate?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as well, on BrennyK74, and Instagram as well. And I will be putting out some Instagram content in the new year. I haven't really been on it as much as Twitter, but you'll see me more often on Instagram.
Brilliant stuff. Gunner King, this could take 5 minutes. Where can they find you?
Well, can't find me, Catch me outside. How about that? TikTok, Gunner King 14, Twitter, Gunner King 14, Instagram, Gunner King 14, all of it. I will be doing more on my Instagram because I've only just set up my own actual one. I had like a personal one that I was using, but I want to come away from that. But that's where you can find me at the moment: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, Gunner King 14. There's going to be more big things coming in the new year, hopefully with Twitch, and but you'll have to stay tuned for that. I will keep everyone posted, but for the moment, that's where you can find me.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you ever so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone in the comments. And as always, we should definitely say, come on, you Gunners, for tomorrow. I'm doing the watch long tomorrow. I really don't need pain. So big up to everyone, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bless, guys. Bless, Bobby. Bless, Gunner King.